have your players, you're just going to leave Kenny's body there, and they do, and then they come back. You can have all the relatives crying and calling them murderers, and how dare they not bring Kenny's body back, and then they can get in trouble for that, and a whole new adventure could be started out. Is that Kenny's body? We got to retrieve it. You don't know, and how's the town going to prove that's Kenny or not Kenny? It can turn into this whole CSI thing in the middle of your fantasy game, and then Kenny's got to be buried, and meanwhile Kenny's haunting people, until he's properly buried. You could have a whole funeral thing. The players could choose to do the right thing and no, we got to get our friend buried. He needs to be brought back to his town of origin. And everyone's like, yeah, but that's an island off the coast of such and such place. And now they've got to escort this body. They got to get something done to it so, it's not too stinky and whatever. And then escort it, the bones in a box, whatever, all the way back to where Kenny was born. Because that's what they want to do. You can have a Viking funeral, catch the boat on fire. Maybe that's the thing. Or they've got to take it to the city of the dead and go down into the catacombs to where the family tomb is supposed to be, someplace. They have to return the bones of their fallen dwarven hero to the abandoned dwarven city of, I don't know, Lorton, and that's what the dwarves do. They go to this abandoned city, and all the other demi-humans supposedly stay away from there, because the dwarves have some patrols and stuff, but for some reason this particular group of dwarves that the dead adventurer came from, the bones have to be taken back, right? And the whole party adventure shifts to protecting these bones, getting the body, bones, ashes, whatever, back to this place, and everything along the way, which can be just crazy stuff. And then when they get there, it can get even crazier. You can go even more gonzo. That's why I say death doesn't have to be the end for the player characters. Not really. They can have wonderful funerals. They can go to the afterworld. You can have an adventure in the afterlife. And planes of the afterworld. They can become some form of undead, for better or for worse. They can be undead and now become evil, and they were used to be good. And now the players are fighting their best friend, who's now super powerful, crazy witch ghost thing, right? They don't know. They just know they're dealing with the stuff, right? Yeah, they could be fulfilling something like they have to arrange a marriage between their dead buddy and a dead chick, right? Funeral customs. Things people do after somebody dies outside of our culture. You should really investigate that and ask yourself, that might be something interesting to add to the game. I mean, what if it turns out the guy you were adventuring with was from a culture where, and he's important, and you didn't know that. He's the crown prince that ran off, right? He's going to go adventuring, and he's been missing from the clan, kingdom, whatever. Let's say the clan of the cat nomads, and they all ride saber-toothed tigers. I don't know, and so he's been playing hooky, but he's got some brothers and stuff, and so he's not worried about it. He just didn't want to rule, right? He just wanted to go out and adventure and be adventure dude, right? And he dies. And when he dies, there's something back in the kingdom that he came from that tells them that he died. All right? And somehow, while he's alive, they couldn't find him, but now they can. So now, a little entourage shows up, to find their missing crown prince. And of course, everybody in the kingdom your players are running around in and doing stuff. It's like, oh yeah, man, that guy looks like, Kenny, right? He's using a, you know, they don't know he's the Khan's son or something, right? Emperor's son from a faraway kingdom. and they're like, oh, that's the name he's using. Okay, well, who are Kenny's friends, right? Right. And so they tell them because hey, they're looking for Kenny, and Kenny's awesome, and they say they're messengers from Kenny's relatives. So of course they want to help Kenny because Kenny's been helping clean up everything and taking care of all the things that go bump in the night. So they go and hook up with the party, and they want the body or what's left of the body, and they want to do a funeral, and it's a great honor, and everybody needs to come with them, and so everybody goes nice along, gets back to where they're supposed to go. You can have adventures all along the way, escorting the body and all this stuff, and then they get there, they find out, well, because they were Kenny's best friend, they're expected to be buried in the secret tomb along with all these servants and stuff, or building the tomb, one of those cultures, where everybody gets killed at the end, now they got a whole nother problem. They got to escape. They got, or are they going to go ahead and go into the afterlife with Kenny? You see what I'm getting at? There's so many things you can do. Like I said, gotta make an arranged marriage with your dead buddy to somebody who's already also dead. You don't have to understand that. It's just part of the culture that you create for that player character, for that player character society. And the humans in the party don't know I don't know, elves, halflings are like that. Let's say halflings, like, the family's so important that if you die not married, it's like the family will never rest and be happy until you can find another halfling that's dead and have a marriage ceremony for them as part of the funeral. Oh yeah, that could be a thing, right? That's actually, I think, a Japanese custom off the top of my head. But do you guys understand? You can draw on this stuff. You can draw on what becomes of an unresting a soul that needs something done. And it can be a very minor thing that needs to be done, but in the course of trying to do that minor thing that seems so simple, all these other things happen. So the main quest would be like take the bones of the ghost that's haunting you to a specific place for burial. And it's not that far away, but getting them there and all the things that happen to the bones and people stealing the bones because that must be important, what's in there. You got to get the stuff back from the Thieves Guild. I mean, you could have some crazy whacked adventures all revolving around the fact that a player died.